How you doing, everyone? Thank you for joining tonight. We're very excited about this August in-service session that we have for you guys. It's a refresher course for the grassroots referees. We hope you enjoy it. And we have these three gentlemen, aside from me, Rick Rem, Lee Etchenbaum, and Dennis Wickham. They're very knowledgeable in the laws of the game, and we're excited to have you here tonight. We hope you enjoy it. It's all you guys.
All righty. Thanks, Juan. All right, guys and girls, I'm going to go ahead and we'll start off right away giving you the agenda, give an idea what we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to be going over the return to play a little bit, Cal South's registration, the monthly in-service stuff that we've been doing, and then we're going to a quick law review. So first thing I want to do is bring up what we're going to do for questions and answers at the end of during this. If you have any questions that come up during the presentation, note them. And we're asking you to ask your association, either your president, your instructor, or an assessor in your group. We like to try and spread the wealth with the questions. If somebody in your group, then if you're one of your instructors or president doesn't know the answer, they can contact Lee, I, or Dennis, and we go from there. So we want to give you the quick rundown on the return to play stuff. So any information you want to find out about return to play, we suggest that you go to the Cal South website and get the information from there, because that is probably the most up-to-date information there is. So basically, the referees don't come into play till we get to the phase 4, and we're not near that at this point. But go on to the Cal South site. That's where we get our information, and then we'll know where we are and what's happening. Okay, a lot of people are asking about that. So then again, we got registration for 2020. Most everybody that's probably watching this is already registered for 2020. And there are some things that need to be done, some housekeeping, so that you'll be able to be ready to pop in to do some games right away if we start to play, or when we start to play. We just don't know when that'll be, but when we do, you want to be ready. So you need to go ahead and make sure you've taken your annual Safe Sport certification, and that that's an annual thing, so you'll do that every year from now on. The sudden cardiac arrest, it's a new requirement. You need to go on and take that along with the concussion awareness. And then you want to make sure that you've had your background check, your live scan, and then that you've reviewed and signed looked at the back to return to play protocols, and that you've also signed your disclaimer forms. Those forms are the same for everybody, coaches, everybody. We're all looking at the same thing. So a way to find out what you have or haven't done is to go onto the Cal South page, and you're going to go into the referees, and you're going to go down to the registered officials thing, and you're going to see the lists of people that are registered. You can go on there and check to see if you're currently on there, or if you go on there and you find you're not there, you can go over and see who was removed. And when you go there to the removed, it will show you what you're owed. If you owe the concussion, or if you owe, live scan, or whatever it might be, it'll tell you what you owe. Okay, so in order to be prepared, you need to take all those things I just talked about. Then a friendly reminder that the registration's now opened for 2021. So if you go on and you want to get that out of the way, you can do it, and then you would be good to go until December 31st of 2021. So if you want to get a head start on it, that's open for you to go do. So this month, this here is what we're going over tonight, is the August U.S. Soccer Grassroots Refresher. Next month, we're going to be covering the return to play. So we'll just briefly touched on stuff on. We'll have some highlights of that here and there as we go along. All of those are available online at our YouTube channel. So all the past ones, everything are all up there. You can go to the YouTube channel. If you've missed some of them, you can go on and watch those. And then we've also got a Google Classroom site that we're doing. But on the YouTube site, we've also got some videos from our leader. He's got some stuff up there. We've got registration requirements are on there that Laura's put up there, and we've also got some warm-up information if you'd like to look at some warm-up drills that I think Lee has put up. So it's a good channel to look at. We've also got a Google Classroom. If you're interested in looking for the information up on Google Classroom, you can go ahead and join that, and you can do that by, you'll have to have a Google email account first, and then you'll go to Google Apps, Google Classroom, you'll click that and plus to join, and then you'll enter the Cal South monthly in-service class code. And this code is here right now if you want to take a quick screenshot of it, or if you want to just write it down. That's the code that you will use to enter that classroom. And in there, you'll have all the, the presentations and things will be in there. We're going to go into what we're covering tonight, the grassroots recertification. You can have the quiz that you're going to have to take, and that's put out by the Federation. It's there. So you log in and get that. And you're going to need to get at least, it's a 50-question test. You're going to need to get at least 80%. If you don't get 80%, don't panic. You get to take it again, and you can retake the quiz and do that. I'm going to leave this up here, so if you want to go ahead and copy down the link so you know where to go, that would be good. So I'll give you a second here while you guys write down. We have it in Spanish and we have it in English. I think a screen might be the easiest thing if you guys know how to do that. Okay, I think that's enough time, hopefully, for everybody to scribble that down. Then we're going to be covering in the outline for tonight is going to be in the introduction. We're going to preparing for the game, officiating the game, managing is reflecting on the performance and laws of the game update. Those are the things we're going to be covering tonight. So the licensing for the grassroots, this is basically what's required. I wanted to cover something here having to do with your safe sport training and safe and healthy playing environments, and then this NCSI background check that people are having some questions at. The NCSI is something that's available on the Federation, but Cal South is not using that. Okay, we've gotten permission to use what's required by us, which is Safe Sport. The state wants Safe Sport, and so we've been using Safe Sport instead of the NCSI. So if there's any questions on that, you don't have to really do it. But if you go on the test, when you guys take the test, I think there's a question on there regarding that. NCSI is their background check.
Right. Also, the NCSI is every 2 years. But again, we don't use that. But for the purpose of the test, it's every 2 years.
I knew I forgot something, Lee. Thank you. So these are the main things we're going to be covering topic-wise. What the grassroots referee is going to be doing, preparing for your game, officiating the game. And each task, we're going to cover the information during the presentation. Same basic thing here, just going over the topics again. We're going to reflecting on the performance and doing that stuff. So I'm going to turn this on over to Lee next, and he's going to get us started. If I can get my mouse to work, we'll go from there. All right, Lee, here you go.
All right, thanks, Rick. Hey, I'm glad to be here. Hope everyone is doing well. Biggest question that we're getting is return to play, and as Rick had mentioned, as soon as we find out, we will let you know. But there is plans that there are some of the leagues will be starting in October. One of the things with regard to now this presentation is actually the grassroots presentation. So it's very, very detailed. We're not going to go into a lot of detail. As a recertifying grassroots, we're going to just do a broad look at it for you. So the first topic is preparing for the game. And we're going to take one part of that, and that's the highlighted red, the navigating the game assignment process. And this is going to be regard to the, your assigners and what to expect. Since everything has changed because of COVID and return to play, we're just going to go over this relatively quickly. Okay, so the U.S. Soccer is working with the CDC. Cal South, we have our own return to play. It goes with the state of California. It goes with our county information. And also, we also take information from U.S. Soccer as well as the CDC, etc. So all of the information here is great, but our source is going to be the return to play, which is on the Cal South website. You cannot miss it. On the referee page, you can actually click on specific referee information with regard to return to play. And as Rick mentioned, we're in phase 4. That's when the referees come back, is on phase 4, and there are specific protocols. We will be covering that in our September meeting, which is starting now. So we'll be having information on return to play and all the protocols. All right, so key thing, especially at this time of year with COVID, is the honoring of commitments. Understand that we may have games scheduled in October, and on Thursday night, those games may all be canceled due to the state not allowing play to continue, or Cal South not allowing it with regard to the return to play protocols, etc. So we're going to have to be very, very flexible and very, very patient and willing to accept lots of change. So one thing is do honor your commitments. Second thing is understand the rules of competition. In addition, understand the protocols. Except games you're obviously comfortable officiating. Adult games as well as the youth games are not in play at this particular moment. Make sure, we've had a lot of heat. Make sure that you're rested properly. A lot of the referees have not been very active. So, maybe check out the fitness part of the presentation that's on our YouTube channel. Let's get back into shape and let's get fit. Some of you are incredibly fit, but some of us probably had a couple of too many sitting around watching TVs. Anyway, the next one is officiating the game. And what we're looking at here is these things. So we understand this is how do you officiate a game. And again, we're talking to grassroots entry-level referees. Understanding the game. So the key thing is every single game is different. Even if you're doing a U12 game and it's the same team playing, it's still a different game. U10 to U12, totally different competition rules. Game is totally different. Adults, completely different. U19, completely different. Boys games, girls games, completely different. So we have to understand that the game that we are going to be refereeing. The second one is making decisions that impact the game. One of the things that I learned through a lot of the mentors that I've had and assessors that I've had is our job is very, very simple. Our job is to keep the confusion away from the players, the spectators, and the coaches. We want to keep the confusion away. So by making decisions, making decisive decisions, consistent decisions, we keep confusion down, and that is our job. So our decisions should be based on during the time of the game, the heat of the game, the score of the game, various things like that do play a difference in our foul selection. So we want to be very aware of how our decisions impact the match. Physical aptitude, obviously fitness is key, speed is key, counterattacks are key for doing that. Recovery is important because we go 3 games in a day, maybe 4 games in a day, maybe you're refereeing 2 days on the weekend, maybe you're refereeing a couple of days during the week. So we really want to make sure that we're physically fit and also we have recovery. Communicating the decisions clearly. All of our mechanics have to be crisp and clean. Our assistant referee flag work also has to be crisp and clean. Our communication between us and the coaches, between the players, between our crew has to be crisp and clean. And then we are the leaders, we are the officials out on the site, and we want to make sure that we present that type of professionalism. This again has to do with the CDC and with regard to returning to play, so we're not going to go into detail here, but again, on September we will. All right, now the next thing we're going to look at is, and we're going to look at some video clips. So we want to understand the game. How do you read the game? There's a whole mess of things here with regard to, how far can they pass? Are they passing? Are they dribbling? Are they a counterattack team? Are they a possession team? How are they on possession? How are they on aerial challenges? Various things like this you want to look at from a sense of reading the game. So we're going to look at an example, and I'm just going to walk you through the positioning of the referee on this example. Okay, so we have a corner kick. Referee's in the right position. The ball goes behind the referee. Notice he gets out of play, still has a good angle, moves into the penalty area, has a good angle there, sees the goalkeeper, receives the ball, and is already sprinting on the counterattack. Okay, he makes up distance by going straight down the field. We're not going to be running a diagonal here, straight down the field. His assistant referee is right there. He's boxing in play. Okay, he's got a good position there. And at this point, he almost gets hit with the ball, but he doesn't. And that's the key. He did not get hit with the ball. But his positioning was great. His recovery was great. His eye contact with the assistant referee was good. And all good there. All good there. Okay? Rick, anything I missed on that?
Nope, I think you're good. You got all the stuff we had in these last 2 slides.
Okay, so now we're going to go to a professional match, and now we're going to be looking at, again, a quick recovery by the goalkeeper. Notice that the referee is sprinting down the field to get into right position. Again, assistant referee in perfect position. AR takes the channel. Okay, we're going to show you a replay on this so that we have a little bit more time on that one. But you'll see that the referee gets in very nice position. There he is here. Okay, quick sprint up the field, looks back a couple of times. Anticipation was excellent. Okay, now he's predicting the movement here, goes back and forth, gets good look at all the play in the penalty area. Anything I missed on that one?
Nope, you got
Okay,
it
good.
all. Yep.
Excellent.
Yep.
All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take a polling question. So Rick is going to set it. You're going to have about a minute to answer it. It won't be very difficult.
It should come live now. Let's hope.
Yep, I see it. Oh, it says that we don't get to vote. But that's just organizers and panelists. Everyone else, you do get to vote.
Got most everybody voted right now. We're still looking another few seconds here.
And then Rick, once we get back, bring me back 2 slides to the one after the video where it says during the game. So I'll just cover those 2 real quick and then we'll turn it over to you.
Okay, no problem. I think we're good. I think we've got 86% people have voted and it's been a little over a minute. So we're going to close the poll and move on.
Okay, thank you for taking that. Do we have a result on that by chance?
I don't have that yet. Let me get you back to those slides first.
Okay, so yeah, if you have it, you can then give us the success rate on that.
Let me see if I've got that after I get you set up.
Good, perfect. All right, so what we have is, again, during the game, we want to make sure our position is good to see the action. I was told early on, basically stay, especially in the attacking thirds, is to stay left of the ball on the diagonal. So in other words, I'm boxing in the play and about 10 to 15 yards away from the ball. Obviously, as it gets closer to my assistant referee and as my age has gotten up there, I give a little bit more distance and a little more trust on my assistant referees. I try to stay closer to the penalty area. But nonetheless, the key is make sure that you have a good angle. That's number one, is have a very, very good angle that you're viewing. Don't be moving and leaning your head and ducking. Get a good solid angle on play, move around as needed. Make sure that you're close to play. You don't want to call a penalty area from the halfway line. That wouldn't be good. Basically on a challenge, any type of a challenge where you're looking at a foul, if there's any type of an injury, make sure we do get in there quickly. Make sure we give a good whistle, judge the severity of it. You always want to be scanning the field, especially when play is stopped. You want to give a good look at behind you. Make sure you're checking with your assistant referees. We talked about predicting and anticipating play. That is, as you get more and more experience, that's probably one of the most important things, because you run a lot less when you know how to predict where things are going to go. Sometimes the younger matches or the less experienced matches are a little bit more challenging because you don't know where to go. So, but nonetheless, it is important to have some prediction, even if the prediction is that the play isn't very solid and I'm not sure where to stand. That's still good to know that. Move to where you think you need to move. Don't be standing around waiting for play to come to you all the time. Next slide. Good. Obviously, avoid being in the way. If we do get hit, we have a whole drop ball ceremony. It's kind of embarrassing, so let's not get hit with the ball. And with regard to play, you have to know what your defenders team is looking like, what your attacking team is looking like. Are we a counterattack team? Are we a possession team, as I mentioned? Diagonal, especially at the grassroots level, is very important. But we also want to move out of the diagonal. You don't want to be a strict railroad diagonal. You want to move off the diagonal, as they did in those 2 examples. All right, I'm good. Rick, do we have any results?
Yep. Well, we got basically 96% got the all of above.
All right,
and
excellent.
we had most everybody got that one 100%. So
okay, perfect. No reason to go over that then. Rick, over to you, buddy.
So I'm going to be covering managing post-game activities. At the end of the game, there's a bunch of things that we need to do. We all know that, but we want to make sure that we're doing a good job on our record keeping. That's something that needs to be done like right away. If you're at a state cup match or something like that, we know we need to do it as soon as your match is over. You're going to come over, get your paperwork done, and get it filed. If you're at a coast game, maybe they have paperwork that's to be filed electronically, or maybe it's got to be written down and then you're going to mail it out later. But you want to make sure you get that done within the 48 hours, or as is designated by the league or cup that you're working. make sure that your whole crew reviews this stuff. So we make sure you've got all the stuff right. You've got the score right. If there were any misconducts as far as cautions and red cards, a lot of the leagues keep track of that stuff. So make sure you got that on there. If there's any type of a supplemental that had to have been written during that, make sure that you've got it all correct, right? That the whole team looks it over, so that when you're submitting that, you're submitting it correct. Review it. You want to use the language that's in the laws of the game, right? Keep it accurate, simple, not long. Keep it just the facts, man. You know, that's a good way to put it. I suggest that everybody keep a copy of the FIFA considerations in your bag. It'll help you to know what to write, and it'll just definitely help you out, especially if you're not used to writing these reports all the time. You want to make sure that you send the supplemental report to your signer and your league, and if it's required, to any other administrator. Okay, so we're going to do some self-reflection after our games. I hope everybody's doing that after each game. I still do it. You never get too old or been doing it too long to do that. So when I do a game, I always want to know, hey, what did I do? What did I not do? And I talk with the crew, and then I look back and reflect what I could do better. You know, what worked, what didn't work. And I try to make sure that I look at something I need to work on and make a point of doing it. A good thing to reflect, make sure you're writing it, especially as a new referee. You want to make sure you keep this stuff in a book somewhere, maybe keep some notes, and, you know, look back on it and see where are you progressing or not progressing. So that'll help you with your game, most definitely. So I wanted to bring up the new license that's available through CalSouth. This is only a state license only. So this would not show up in the Learning Center if you were to go on there and look for that. It won't show there. But basically what it is, it's the old grade 7 kind of a way. You know, for people that know about that, it's like a grade 7 kind of a license. We're trying to help you prepare to become a regional. So as people want to be progressing and bettering themselves, they can go ahead and do what's required to become a grassroots elite referee, and that will help you, you know, to progress on up to your regional status if that's what your ambitions are. Basically, you got to do the same things. Everybody's got to do the concussion, all that good stuff, and healthy playing environments in the learning, safe and healthy learning environments in the learning sim can be taken in lieu of the thing. So if you have taken that in there, you could do that, even though that's not required by CalSouth. Okay. In addition, when you're going to become an elite, or a grassroots elite referee, you are going to be getting a development and guidance observation. That's one of the requirements. But you don't have to become an elite referee, elite grassroots referee, to have an observation done. Just wanted to throw that out there, so that even if, don't be scared that you have to go meet everything else. If you just want some feedback on your games and how you're doing, you can have one of the mentors come out and watch one of your games. And you can do that. Anybody can do that anytime. And all you have to do is email me, and we'll get that set up for you to have it done. The benefits, of course, are to help you develop. And what you got to be willing to do is accept some feedback. And the things that the mentors are going to look for are going to be how you controlled the game, how you work with the team, your positioning, and your physical fitness. So those are the things that you'll get from that assessment or that observation. Got to change my terminology. All right, well, I'm going to turn this over then to Dennis and let him get started on the law review.
Great. Hello, everyone. Glad to be here. Excited to talk about some of the things that IFAB has thrown at us for the upcoming season, the new changes to the laws of the game. When we get back into leagues and tournaments after we are cleared to play, these changes will in fact be involved in part of the laws. So we're going to do a summary of them today. We're going to highlight some of the important ones. But I want to start by talking about, you don't have to just simply rely on what you take notes today. The IFAB has an app. It's free. If you downloaded it last year, the update is now available. It's available on your Android device. It's available on a PC device. It's available on your Apple device. Go and download. It's the IFAB IFAB for International Football Association Board app. And what it'll give you the laws of the game, and they highlight and underline all of the changes. There's a section in the back that tells you why they made some of these changes, to give you some of the, why did they do that? My life was difficult enough. It's there. You can put notes in it. If you have it on your phone, you can take it to the game. You can take a look with it. You read it, and it's very useful to just, even if I know all this stuff, no, we've had lots of changes thrown over us last couple of years, and there are new changes to the changes as they kind of tinker and adjust. So get the app, download it, and take a look at it. I think you will find it's very, very useful, very user-friendly, and it's free. So that's the app from the IFAB, and it's the Laws of the Game app. So we begin with, they actually wrote down a clarification they released in the middle of last year. Why did they release a clarification? Because there was some professional game somewhere where a team practiced the following. The goalkeeper put the ball down for a goal kick. He flipped it up into the air to his teammate standing right next to him, who headed it back to the keeper, who ran to the top of the 18, threw the ball as far as he could, and 2 passes later, a goal scored. And everybody said, can you do that? Is it legal? And there was this big debate. And so what the FIFA announced and IFAB confirmed is, okay, we don't want them doing that, but don't punish them. So if in fact you get a coach that saw that great play on TV, has trained his kids, and you see that happening, it's a goal kick or a free kick inside the penalty area, goalkeeper flicks the ball up, and his teammate heads back, blow the whistle, stop play, take the kick over again. We're not going to give a yellow card. We're not going to give a red card. We're just going to have them take the kick over again. Now, if they did it 12 times, they did it 3 times. If they did it 2 times, they're not listening to you. Now you can deal with it in terms of a warned caution. So the answer is we don't want to see it, but it's not a cautionable offense. Second change that they did, and this really came from World Cup experience, is that if you get the kicks from the penalty mark and you have a player who's already sitting on a yellow card and they get another yellow card during the kicks phase, are they done or are they sent off? Well, the answer is no. They quickly did it at the World Cup with this little memo, and the IFAB has now confirmed it. Cautions and warnings during the match extend into extra time, but when you get to the kicks from the penalty mark phase, they're wiped out. You start fresh. So if you had a yellow card beforehand, you can get 2 yellow cards during the kicks from the penalty phase before you're sent off. Second big change, and this is something that the old timers will say this is what we always used to do, but again from World Cup experience. If you get the goalkeeper committing an offense, and as a result, the kick is retaken, we're going to warn the goalkeeper the first time and caution for any subsequent offense. So this idea that, well, you have to, it's a mandatory caution is now gone. That's a change from last year. But that's a really important change. We are now going to warn the goalkeeper on the first offense. And we'll talk about it in a second, but it's the same thing in penalty kicks. We're going to give a warning if we retake for a keeper infringement the first time. So second thing, if you got kicks from the penalty mark and the goalkeeper and the kicker committed offense at exactly the same time, we're going to score that as a miss, and the kicker is going to be cautioned. That was something that was kind of unnervy when it came into effect last year, but the real thing is it happens so rare, and the theory is that, oh, well, the kicker movement caused the keeper to move, so we're going to blame the kicker. That hasn't changed. If you check the next slide, though, this has. When we've got the keeper encroaching, we're going to still warn them on this first offense. So even then, when they both infringe, we're only going to give a warning to the goalkeeper. And again, they repeated the notion that they really mean it. If it's to the goalkeeper and the kicker, and they mean the goalkeeper, not an attacking team, the goalkeeper and the kicker offend at exactly the same time, We're just going to punish the kicker, and that'll be scored as a miss. So this applies both in penalty kicks and it is keeper infringes. Keeper clearly infringes, and the ball sails wide of the goal or over the top of the goal. And now the question is it a goal kick or is it a retake? And it had been that we would retake. And now IFAB has said, no. You referee make a decision. Did the keeper's action have any clear impact on the keeper? Not, it might have, he's kind of nervous. No, you see a clear impact on the keeper. Now we're going to retake. You see, they just missed the shot. We're going to go goal kick. So we're not going to penalize keeper infringement unless there's a clear impact on the kicker. And if you want to know the reason, it's because the goalkeepers union is the strongest in the land, and they get lots of things that you and I don't get away with. Next slide. So keepers clearly both feet are not on the line at the time that the ball is kicked. But Ms. Renard, though they won Women's Champions League, she's a great player. She just missed it. So this is goal kick. That's what the IFAB wants. That's what football expects in this. That's not an impact. Now, in games we see, kids are going to stand on the goal line and they're going to make a beeline run right at the kicker. Okay, so they're going to have an impact? Probably, but you're going to make the judgment call, referee. Did the keeper infringement have an impact on the kicker? So you get the kicks from the penalty mark. You do a pregame. You're going to talk about penalty kicks. You're going to talk about this now with your assistant referee because they put the flag up for any infringement by the keeper, and you're going to have an issue. And so talk to them. What do you want if you see that and the ball goes wide? Wait, hold on your flag a bit, have eye contact. What you do and how you communicate is very important in this situation now because things have changed. Polling question number 2. Thanks. So we have a player in an offside position receives the ball from an opponent who deliberately handles the ball. The player scores. So we got it. So my teammate makes a pass to me. I'm in an offside position, but before the ball gets up, the defendant deliberately handles the ball. I get the ball, I score. So you got to choose. Do we have a kickoff because that's a good goal? Do we have an indirect free kick because that's offside? Or forget all of that. What you should do is direct free kick or penalty kick. It's just the deliberate handling. Please vote. Rick, what do we got?
So we've got 58% for kickoff and 14% for indirect free kick and 28% for direct free kick or PK.
Well, believe it or not, at one time in Juan Guzman's lifetime, all 3 of those answers were correct. So give yourself an applaud. Some of you are really, really old. Some of you are a little bit old. And some of you are aware of the new change in the law of the game. Those who know the new law are the 58% who said that's a goal. Why? They've changed the law to make it very clear that a player in an offside position who receives the ball from an opponent who deliberately plays the ball, now that we knew from last year and the year before, including by deliberate handball, is not considered to have gained an advantage unless it was a deliberate save by the opponent. So in this case, when I receive the ball, even though I had been in an offside position, I am not gaining an advantage, and therefore I have not infringed the offside law by playing the ball because I received it from a deliberate handball, which is considered a deliberate play of the ball. So when we see that, the laws are saying give the goal. Now, we have to be careful because it has to be a deliberate handling of the ball. And this is new, and players are going to be confused. And so make sure your judgment is, yep, that was deliberate handling by the defender. And if so, then you're going to have not offside. Big change. We will see this. We will see this. So here's an example. And I don't know if your video was clear or not, but as the ball went over to the defender, he reached up and batted the ball with his arm, just not very well. But there was a deliberate play. That ball is way over the arm is way over the defender's head, which is how we know it's a deliberate. It wasn't accidentally over the top of his head, because that's the way he runs. And so what IFAB wants is, that's a good goal. It was a deliberate play by the defender. Now, if the defender had used his feet, no one would have a problem with that's a good goal. Our issue was, well, but playing with your feet's a legal play of the ball. That's an illegal play of the ball. And the IFAB has said, you should be better off if you're the defendant if you made an illegal play on the ball than a legal one? Nah. The other change, and we've now started seeing this in some of the professional leagues, what is the definition of a hand? It used to be from the very tip of the shoulder all the way down, and some pundits have wrongfully called this the short sleeve rule. So I was expecting a whole bunch of players to come out in September with their sleeves down to their elbow, saying, see, it touched my sleeve. It has nothing to do with the short sleeve. It's an armpit rule. And the arm, for purposes of handling, starts at the bottom of the armpit and goes down to the fingertips. So above the armpit through and across the shoulders is no longer a handball, because it's no longer considered part of the hand. This will save a lot for us, because people used to use the corner of their shoulder, and we always had to figure out, is that the chest? Is it the outside? Is it the top of the shoulder? Now it's the armpit rule. So if it hits above the armpit, you don't have to decide deliberate or not deliberate, because that's not considered handling the ball by definition. Question number 3. All right, the ball accidentally hits a player's arm, goes down to her feet. She dribbles it downfield. Then she crosses it to a third player who scores. Do I have a good goal, or do I have a handball? Because even though it was an accidental touch of the arm, it started a promising attack. So please vote. So everybody got what's happened? Ball hit the arm accidentally. It clearly hit the arm. It drops down to her feet. She dribbles it around. Then she passes it to a third player who ultimately scores. Good goal or handball? Vote now. Rick, what do we got?
So we've got 40% say it's a good goal and 60% say it's a handball. So we're kind of split.
That's pretty close to 50-50, which
Yep.
my old senior partner used to say means you haven't a clue, and some of you are guessing and some of you know. So once again, a year ago, everybody who said handball would have been right. And now everybody who said good goal is right. What did they change? Well, they used to talk about an inadvertent handball had 3 times that it was going to be called handball. One hasn't changed. Hits my hand, goes right into the goal. Second thing hasn't changed. Hits my hand, and it goes to my teammate, and it goes right into the goal. But what they have changed is they're now saying it's not an offense if after an accidental handball, the ball travels some distance, a pass or a dribble, or there's several passes. Because what we're now asking is not promising attack. We're asking is goal or goal scoring opportunity. So in the example that I had, it went down to their foot, but then she dribbled a bunch, then she crossed it, then somebody else got it. And so in your mind, if you say, hey, well, that only took 1 second, it didn't. But if you did, okay, I can get that, then you would be able to say that was a goal scoring opportunity. But in my example, there was a lot of stuff that happened between the incidental and the goal scoring opportunity, which was the dribble, then the cross. Now, the ball goes to my feet, I take 2 steps, I put it in the back of the net. That's a goal scoring opportunity. If I got whacked before I could get that shot off, you're probably thinking red card. Goal scoring opportunity. If you got a goal scoring opportunity, we're still going to call it an inadvertent handball. But what they've really done is they've restricted. They want to have a goal scored immediately or almost. It's imminent that there's a goal that's going to be scored. So what does this mean in our games? Well, it means that a lot of the stuff that happens in the defensive end of the field, or even in, the middle third, very close to the halfway line in the games we do, those are rarely going to be a goal scoring opportunity. As we get closer, as we have fewer numbers, fewer distance, now we're thinking we're going to be calling handball. Other thing for refereeing these games, though, is we confuse all the players because we didn't call it that way last year. So you're going to have to say the words. You're going to have to say the words. Not a goal scoring opportunity. Yes, it hit the arm, not a goal scoring opportunity. Or hit the arm and a goal scoring opportunity. We're going to have to be ready for some confusion from the players. So it'll probably take 2 years before they get it. So we added one thing, I think, because there was a professional game in which this happened. And so here's what happened. The goalkeeper put the ball down for a goal kick. In fact, we don't have a video here. We had it for last month's. The goalkeeper puts the ball down. He's trying to clear it on a goal kick to his, player who's supposed to be at the top of the penalty area. He makes a crummy kick, and it kind of slowly dribbles by on the opponent who's standing around on the edge, races in to go kick it and score. And the keeper ran up as fast as he can and kicked it a second time. And everybody said, well, sure, that's a double touch. It's an indirect free kick, but that can't possibly be denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity by a foul because it ain't a foul. Well, yes, it's an offense. And when the offense is playing the ball a second time with or without the hand or arm after a restart and before it touches another player, we are going to yellow card or red the goalkeeper for stopping a promising attack. That's a yellow card. Or denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity, a red card. But only if it's a double touch violation on a restart. Even though it's a touch with the arm, it isn't an offensive handball because the goalkeeper can't commit handling inside their area, but it is an offense of improperly playing the ball a second time. So yellow card or red card will come into effect on a second touch at a restart. So we may never see this again, but they had one game, people went crazy, so they changed the law. Oh, there it is. That's a crummy kick. Oh my gosh. Kick it away a second time. So we're not going to go through whether or not that's a yellow card or red card tonight, but we would be looking at the same sorts of things that we would be doing in terms of closest to the ball, closest to the player, closest to the goal. Do you think if he hadn't kicked it a second time, it would have been a goal? We have changed over the last years that if I see a yellow card or red card event and I blow the whistle and I have not yet started the disciplinary sanction, the card's still in my pocket. We used to say, hey, if you allow the team to take a free kick, then your card's going to stay in your pocket. Don't do that. We now say, well, no, the referee can allow the offending team to take a quick free kick if they do it. 2, they have a clear goal scoring opportunity. And 3, you haven't started a disciplinary sanction procedure. You can go back and administer the sanction at the next stoppage. But there's a warning on this, which is if the team does the quick restart and you would have given a red card for denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity, the team just got their obvious goal scoring opportunity back again. That's why they did the quick restart. So the red card now is going to become a yellow card. It can't be denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity because allowing them to restart gave them the opportunity back. Similarly, if there was going to be a yellow card for stopping a promising attack, well, the team got their promising attack back by their quick restart, so we won't give a yellow card. But if it's a red card for the most evil, vicious, nastiest tackle you've ever seen, you can go back and give the red card. Warning, boy, unless they're going to score in a second, don't leave someone on the field that you know has just done a red card offense. Bad things will happen. But on a yellow card, like a reckless tackle, you can allow them to get a chance to score a goal and go back and give the yellow card for the reckless tackle. So that's what happens on a quick restart. Exactly the same thing happens on advantage. If you give an advantage and the foul would have been a red card for denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity, same rule applies. You gave it back to them. It's now a yellow card. If you had given a yellow card for stopping a promising attack and you allow the advantage, same rule applies. It's now not a yellow card because you gave them the promising attack back. But otherwise, the rule remains the same. You give the advantage. If it was a yellow for a reckless tackle after the next stoppage in play, you can go back and give the yellow card at the next stoppage. So we want to have a consistency between that rule and the other. Good. They've added, no surprise, if you don't respect the distance at a drop ball, you can get a yellow card. A promising attack, any offense that stops a promising attack can be a yellow card. So we're not going to get hung up on whether it was impeding or whether it was a foul, as we had in the example earlier before, it was a second touch violation that stopped the promising attack. It doesn't need to be a foul. It can be any offense. And when you get to handball, there's a separate thing that you still have a yellow card for when you have a yellow card for an improper handball. That hasn't changed. So we've talked about this. Goalkeeper's not penalized when the kick just misses without a clear impact. That's both penalty kicks and kicks from the mark. And we talked about this before too. They did it in the laws for Law 14 as well. We're going to do a warning for the first keeper infringement at the taking of a penalty kick. So we've had a couple of changes here. First, we get a teammate of the goalkeeper infringing. That's really simple. It enters the goal or it doesn't enter the goal. We're going to either goal or retake. They made it simpler when both teams offend. It's now banned. The old folks will say, why did they change it? Why are they back? To cause you to get questions on multiple guess answers wrong, I think. But now we're back. If both teams offend, if a player of both teams, they mean a field player, because remember, we know when it's a goalkeeper and a kicker, the kicker loses. But when both teams encroach, we're going to retake regardless. Now, if we have an illegal feint, that's viewed as, the most horror of horrors, and so we're going to punish that. But when both teams offend, usually by encroaching, we're going to retake no matter what. This means we had a much simpler chart. But I recommend that when you start doing games again, print out the penalty kick chart, take it, and look at it again. Because you will remember that something changed, but you won't remember what it was and what it is. So take and have this with you. Put this next to your considerations quickly before the game. Just scan it again. And if you color it and print it, you see that the change and the real changes are all affecting by the defense, and they made it easier for you. But I would take this chart with you. The chart's now in the laws of the game. If you have the IFAB app, you'll have it with you in your phone. And that is it. How are we on time?
Not bad. Didn't do bad. A little bit 5 minutes over, so we're not doing bad. Think it went well. Just wanted to make sure that if anybody else has any things they want to add, if Juan wants to add anything or Lee, this is their time to do it and add in whatever you might want to add in.
I just want to thank everybody for being here. We will be doing, as I said, and as we said many times, we will be doing our September in-service, monthly in-service. It will be on Return to Play. Want to thank Dennis for joining us this evening. It's great having you, Dennis.
Appreciate
Juan,
it.
you want to end us off?
And we'll let Juan have the last word.
All right, guys. Just real quickly, one of the things that I noticed, the reflection part is very important. Let's do that. If we're not reflecting on our games, we're not learning, we're not getting better, and the game is not getting better as well. So remember to reflect. We all did it to get to where we were. All the stuff that we did in our careers. So it'll help you as well. So I just wanted to mention that. And these guys up here did a great job today. Thank you for sharing and imparting your knowledge. on everybody. I think it's positive, and we'll see you next time. Be safe and healthy.
Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.